Hey everyone, hope you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis update of commodities, work our way through the dollar, yields, precious metals, and commodities ETFs that I follow. I'll interject my financial opinions as we go through it. And if you need help with anything, check out finding-value.com, where I dive deeper into all these topics and subjects looking for potential investment opportunities. I share everything on the website of all my opinions on those individual companies. We do have a discount coupon code, special. So if you're interested in signing up, you can get a special discount right now, 50% off the first month only on the monthly membership, and a larger discount on the yearly membership. And if you're in a monthly membership, you can always migrate to the yearly membership for a larger discount. All right, let's dive in, take a look, see what's going on. Starting with the DXY, we've got some selling pressure today. We were down in the dollar or DXY. Again, we squeezed up, big selling pressure. We had a reversal candlestick with this big wick at the top, and we've headed lower, and we are getting a little bit of buying pressure towards the end of the day. We'll have to see what kind of follow through we get here. A lot of the times what I see is a couple of small up candlesticks, and then we could potentially roll over. That's one possibility. Or if it starts to base out and start getting large, big candlesticks like bullish engulfing green candlesticks, those generally will work their way on up. So I don't know the exact what this looks like here. That's what we're waiting for next. Yields are generally the driver. So if we see a declining yields in specifically the 2 and 10 and 30, those are the ones that I watch. If you see them go down, generally the dollar will go down with it. The 2-year, again, we see weaker yields across the board here today. So the 2-year was down about 0.6%. We got this falling wedge. We broke out, hit resistance, and we are rolling over. We got to see what this looks like after here. This isn't a strong closing today. So are we going to come back up with a weak bounce? Or is there going to be follow through where we get stronger selling pressure lower? We're kind of at that decision point right here. The 10-year is going through the same thing. Stronger selling pressure today. And I want to see what this looks like going here, or maybe we come on up and then roll over. But weaker yields, at least across the board today. The 30-year was down 2%, a little bit larger than the shorter end of the curve, but we're still above all these support levels. We've got TYX-TNX ratio down a little bit, which means the yield curve inverted. So the long end of the curve fell more than the short end. That typically isn't very supportive of precious metals prices when this comes back down. Bond prices are up today because, obviously yields were down. So we got a big move up higher in yields. And that does look like we could go higher in yields still. So a shoulder, head, and then a shoulder, and then the break higher. What this is doing is it's causing the dollar to go down against other currencies. And this could potentially cause money to rotate differently in the markets if the dollar continually gets weaker against other currencies. And if the stock market starts to roll over, and we'll see if it does, that's even more firepower for money rotation into other currencies like emerging markets and Chinese currencies and stuff like that, or Chinese stock markets. The 2 and 10 yield here, huge inversion of the yield curve coming back up, and that deals with the 2-year falling less than the 10-year. Looking at gold, gold was up about $6. We do have a little bit of a wick at the top. Sometimes we get reversal candlesticks where we could go down a little bit or consolidate. Very possible with that wick being there. Silver down 1%. Again, guys, like when I look at all these, they're all super bullish on the longer term. I wouldn't focus on these short-term movements. I'd be looking for big long-term moves higher in both gold and silver. But we did get some selling pressure today, down 1%. It's just a normal down day. Nothing to worry about. Platinum up about 6%. We want to break through this blue resistance line and just rip through here. When that occurs, we'll start to see, I think, stocks underperform, and we'll be in an inflationary environment when platinum outperforms gold. And then palladium up slightly today. But again, we're just moving back and forth here after breaking out of this falling wedge, which still looks good to go higher. GDX up quite a bit, 2.5%. GDXJ up 2.5%, and SILJ up about 2.2%. We kind of broke through this resistance area, and we're heading on higher, so that looks good in all of them. GDXJ looks really good because we're on top of this resistance area, and we could easily start cruising higher in the gold junior mining ETF here. Looks very good. XAU gold miners versus gold itself, big move up today, about 1.84% of outperformance. We're coming from an incredibly low level, and this still looks really good for those that are value investors looking at gold and silver mining companies, playing the money rotation into this over time. Crude oil down about 2% today. We are back to that support area through here, and then we're sitting right on top of it. February is the weakest month seasonality coming through here, and then we start to bottom in February and start to turn higher up in March and April. So we're right on support. We'll see if it holds. But there's not a ton of selling pressure here. So one of the things I also look at is how fast did we go up? Boom, 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 and then we've got small red candlesticks coming on back here. I do think that will eventually bottom and turn higher. That's my inclination and the way that I view it. TTF gas up 2.6%, right at the top of this resistance area. We'll see if we can punch through it. And we've got resistance coming across too, which is this guy here going across. Natural gas in America up 3.7% or so. Looks like a bullish engulfing here. We could head higher. I know we've got some cooler weather coming towards in about a week or so. So I think that's probably having an impact on natural gas pricing. Our boy XOP, yeah, you know me, down 0.18%. I think this looks really good and constructive. We have a nice big bullish engulfing. We got a small bloody nose today. That looks good to go higher. XOP looking pretty good. We are above support here, so this is the support I'm talking about there. And we are sandwiched between that support level and resistance, which is this guy here. So hopefully we can gain some footing here. It's probably going to take a month or two, and then we'll punch through it. OIH also looking very good. We had a 2% down day in oil, but in OIH, we're up 0.72%. We've got a bullish engulfing here. That looks good to go higher. Newcastle coal futures down. It looks like we're trying to put in a bottoming action here as we go back and forth and consolidate. So that's looking better, even though we were down 0.65% today. Sprott Physical Uranium Trust selling off 2.8% or so. It looks like it's trying to bottom. We had strong selling pressure, and now it's kind of consolidating sideways. We're still within the big flag pattern that we've got there. Uranium futures pricing down slightly, creating this gigantic flag pattern there. That generally works its way higher. Whenever you get downward facing consolidations, what it is, it's just a stair-step pattern where you stair-step up like this on top of these downward facing patterns. So that all looks good. These are generally in the opposite direction as you come on up. And what I mean by opposite, they're either sideways or they're upward facing. So you'll get patterns that go upward like this and then break lower. So that's what I see in the chart for uranium. URA, this is good because uranium was down and URA was up a little bit today. So we're seeing the equities hold steady. That includes URNM holding steady and URNJ just trading sideways. That's generally a good sign as you see the uranium futures pricing lower, but the equities holding firm. Copper breaking out today, big up 2% move today. We could see this run moving on up. I'd like to see it make a new high, which it is making a new high here. So we kind of broke out, retested, and now we're gonna run most likely with that double bottom. So that looks good for copper. We've got COPX also up a little bit, about 1%, and we could probably see this run with copper itself. Iron ore up slightly. I think iron ore looks fantastic, absolutely fantastic. I'm just waiting for a big move. Got a little bit of resistance coming through here that we broke through, and we've got resistance coming through here. So it looks good to work its way on up eventually for iron ore. Aluminum still underneath that stinking resistance line, haven't broken out yet. And nickel down slightly. There we are, just chopping sideways. I think it's going to go higher. Whenever you see kind of these two big up days with the small downward move, it looks like it wants to turn and rip higher. Mu down 1.24% today. We did have weaker dollar, weaker yields, but that did not help Mu at this time. Emerging markets sideways. It is waiting for money flows into it. KRE up 1%, looking like it's getting above some resistance. We'll see if we can get a breakout. TAN down 1.35%. This looks so ugly. God, it looks ugly. Maybe because we're short silver. I don't know. Lithium moving sideways up against resistance of that downtrend line. There's the downtrend line. REMX moving sideways, down 0.3%, right up against support resistance. Baltic Dry Index up 2%. This could be 1 day lag. I think this is real close to a bottom here. It's got to. Look how low we are compared to history here. So this dotted line going across, we're lower than this entire area back here, going all the way across. We got a little bit lower in 2016, a little bit lower here in 2020, and I drew it a little bit off, but we're real close to the bottom. So I think this is going to bottom here. This is probably a really good opportunity to look for potential investment opportunities. And obviously, I have all those opportunities on the website of the dry bulk companies that I like. XHB up 1%. It does like the lower yields, and we'll see how sustaining this is to the upside if yields continue to drop. Russell 2000 up 1.14. This is where they want you to be. The Federal Reserve and governments, they want you to be in these assets, financial assets, and keep you over there. If they can lower interest rates and keep them below 5%, money will stay over here. SPX also higher, and then the NASDAQ above support and still higher today. SMCI up 8%, but still inside the pattern. We've got NVIDIA up 5.35. That's also coming back to the upside. And then we've got Bitcoin up slightly. This is a lot of buying and selling pressure against each other. Ethereum up 1.1, but we've got a downtrend starting to form. Not looking too good for it. MicroStrategy's down 3.33. This could easily go lower if Bitcoin decides to roll over here, and it's very possible that it does. So we'll see what happens. And then the VIX pulled on back as the S&P was up higher today. So that's what I've got for today, guys. Give me a thumb up for the content. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the website. Special coupon code is active if you'd like to use it. I released the midweek update. That is on the website if you'd like to see what my opinions are about the individual companies. And then we have a question and answer session coming up on Sunday at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. All right, guys. We'll catch you later. This is Finding Value.